You'll be fixed. Okay, let me just make sure they let me know when it's fixed. Okay, so you guys on streaming on the Facebook platform, you all should be hearing me now. And some of you are already logged in. Val, Charles, Teresha, Jade, Wati, good night to you. Newbold Ferdinand, Amelia Marshall, good night to you guys. I believe that the audio is now fixed. Tekla Prevel, Angela Hippolyte, I'd like to say good night to you. First of all, I have an amazing guest today, by the way. But you know, we always clean up some. John Runnings, good night. We always do some internal house issues on topics first before I introduce my guest for this evening. We have a police press release dated 30th May. Yeah, so I'm just going to read that now, okay, guys? And it says, police officers attached to the Criminal Investigations Department, Vieux-Fort, are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of 21-year-old Jesus Blanchard. There goes my voice again. Let me drink some water. Of Westall Group Shine Drive, Vieux-Fort. A report of a shooting at the intersection of Hospital Street and Jesse Street was referred to the Vieux-Fort Police Station for investigation. About 11:45 p.m. on Saturday, May 23, 2022. The victim, Jesus Blanchard, was transported to the St. Jude Hospital via ambulance where he succumbed. A postmortem is scheduled for a subsequent date. Anyone with information regarding this incident is encouraged to contact the Vieux-Fort Police Station at 456-3905, 456-3926, or 285-2146, or the crime hotline at 45-CRIME for anonymous reporting. Okay, so that's a press release coming from the Royal Seneschal Police Force. And I believe I read somewhere on, or heard the news actually, where there was also a shooting incident, I believe yesterday, in the wake of this homicide. I can't say that there's any relation, but Vieux-Fort appears to be the hot button issue now. And in listening to talk shows today and following certain social media platforms, once again, those who wish it are pointing the blame at the police, or pointing the blame at the politician, or pointing the blame at the EMTs. There's a lot of blame going around. There's a lot of pointing of fingers. But you hardly hear people are blaming the individual who committed the crime. We hardly hear that. I think there comes a time where we need to raise our voices for those who are choosing to commit crime. And yes, I know that there are circumstances, factors, and all other different, things that would surround an individual or influence an individual to exercise the choice of committing an offense. But here's the magic word: choice. Unless if that individual is mentally deranged or suffering some mental illness where they don't have control of their actions, or probably, excuse me, or probably they're under the influence of some drug, a drug that they themselves did not administer to their own selves, but on the malicious whims of someone else. We forget that people have choice. That you choose that today you will not park your vehicle in a designated parking spot, but you'll park it on Brazil Street because you don't want to walk a couple of feet to a business place. So you'll park it there and cause an entire traffic backup. We forget people have choice. We forget that people will choose to just see an individual walking in the city and decide to grab their chain or their handbag and walk away with it. But when this happens, it's amazing how a set of the society, and some will disagree with me, that's okay. Some sections of society are very quick to blame everybody else. And it's your right, it's your opinion. If you believe that the police in Vieux-Fort, because they have not arrived on a scene within the time you would like them to arrive, are just sitting at the station doing nothing, because there seems to be no crime in St. Lucia. Nothing goes wrong. People don't make bad choices at all. There seems to be no crime. So the police are just sitting in the station or having a drink in a bar, doing nothing. But you'll never record them, eh? Just sitting. It's amazing that we're in an age of technology where before a police officer tries to perform his duty, that people are taking out the phones to record them or trying to stop them from doing their job. But allegations of, oh, they're in the bars in Vieux-Fort drinking all over the place, they're not doing their work, but no one records them. Because there is no crime. That when an incident occurs, the police, no one wants to give the police the benefit of the doubt that when that incident occurred, they were taking care of another crime or the scene of another crime. That they need to be there because they just at the station doing nothing. So the blame game, as usual, blame it, throw it all on the police. It's your right. It's your opinion. This is a democratic country. But I think when the question, and I'm going to get to my guess, I just need to get this off my chest. When the question comes up, when we always hear from certain talk show hosts or other people about, we are emboldened, the criminals appear to be emboldened, but of course they're emboldened because the airwaves is filled with people blaming the police, the politician, the correctional officer, the doctor, everybody except a loud voice condemning the ones who chose to commit crime. Chose to commit crime. They made a choice. Whatever the reason for making that choice, that's for the courts and the social scientists, but they made a choice. We need to start condemning those who commit the act and stop always, all the time, just blaming everybody else except those who commit the act. Yeah? Wanted to get this off my chest. Let's go to our Know Your Laws for tonight. Nathan Timmett's Know Your Laws. And after that, we will take a short break. And then I'll come to my guest. I have a nice video clip to you now. I know my guest is going to like it. And you will too. But I suspect I will invite the guest, have a little chat, and then we'll play the clip. So, Nathan Timmett's Know Your Laws. Section 32. And folks, we are coming from the Correctional Services Act of 2008. Section 32. Authority of the director to punish for minor correctional offenses or offense. And it says here, where any inmate commits any minor correctional facility offense, then on such inmate being found guilty thereof, following an inquiry before the director or director, you know, people pronounce it differently, the director may impose any or all of the following punishments. A, reduction of diet to number 1 for any period not exceeding 7 consecutive days. Guys, we're in some terms there for the first time, you know, even myself. B, reduction of diet to number 2 and hopefully my guests will be able to, tell us a little about what that means. Reduction of diet to number 2 for any period not exceeding 14 consecutive days. And C, suspension or postponement of any privileges for any period not exceeding 28 consecutive days. And D, forfeiture of remission for any period not exceeding 30 days. Okay? So that was tonight's Nathan Timet's Know Your Laws, Section 32 of the Correctional Services Act. And just before we take that break, I'm going to say quickly, you might be wondering what are some of the minor offenses, well, that the director can preside over, that an inmate may commit. We're looking at making false complaints against a correctional officer, that's one. If an inmate malingers, if an inmate refuses to work, chooses not to work, uses threatening or improper language, or if the inmate leaves, there's many more, but I just took some of them, leaves his or her cell or place of work without permission, the director can reduce their diet to number 1 and number 2. Anyway, we're going to take a short break now. Tell a friend to tell a friend that Police Insight is on Choice TV. Stay tuned.
This is the year to be counting solutions reminded. We must not participate.
Hi, I am Suzanne Clovis Freitas, owner and lead instructor at Studio Fit and Healthy 911. Anu Conte Saint Lucie, let us all come together in support of the 2022 National Population and Housing Census. The future is counting on you.
This is the year to be counted. The census is vital. Look at Conte Saint Lucie. Conte Saint Lucie.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Your host there, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte. Good night to all those who have also joined in the chat, like Chauvin Lecomte. How you doing, cuz? Joella Yard, good night to you. Amanda Charles, hi, cuz, how you doing? Yolinsha Baptiste, Telma Philip, I see you guys already. Narcis Moise, good night to you. Yubal Ferdinand, yes, I see you guys already. Thank you, Yulin, in the chat. So, without further ado, my guest tonight, we're talking about corrections. The facility, where people go when the court has a judge that they're guilty, or even when you're on something what we call remand, where you're awaiting your day in court. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to Police Insight, Correctional Officer 2, number 2, that's the grade of rank, Yasmin Peter. Miss Peter, good night to you.
Good night, Sergeant Hippolyte.
How you doing?
Quite well.
How was work? Because I know you worked today.
Okay.
It was okay?
It was all right.
All right. And I found out something earlier during the break, actually, or before the show started. Would you like to say good night to that very special child of yours? I just cannot believe. Go say good night. Good night. I cannot believe you're the mother of one of our well-known Calypsonians. Am I correct?
Yes.
And that's who again?
Ocean.
Ocean. Wow. I swear that was your sister. So, good night. Good night to Ocean. Yes, that's her mom. So, Officer Peter, thank you for coming here tonight. We have some questions for you, but first of all, can you tell St. Lucia a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Good evening, St. Lucia, my fellow correctional officers and employees of the Borderley Correctional Facility. Good evening. My name is Yasmin Peter. I have been a correctional officer for the last 19 years. I enjoy what I do. I'm a mother of 2 and a wife. I take great pride in my job. Corrections, when I first became a correctional officer, my intention was to do 5 years and then leave because that was not my dream job. However, I've stayed for 19 years. I've gained a lot of experience. I've learned a lot. My passion in corrections is rehabilitation. Okay, I currently work with the rehabilitation department, okay, under the programs department. And tonight I'm happy to be here. We're going to discuss a range of issues. In particular, Correctional Services Employees Month. And I know that I would like to shout out the Deputy Director and the Director as well. The Deputy Director was supposed to be here this evening, but he's not feeling too well, so I would like to tell him get well soon. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm going to do my best.
Yeah, excellent. You know, whenever my guests come here, they're comfortable. You will do your best, Officer Peter. Okay, so folks, stay tuned. You know, it's going to get real hot a little later because I have a video clip to play, and trust me, it's going to just leave your mouth wide open, even probably the correctional officer. So we're talking about Correctional Services Month, am I correct?
Yes, we are.
What is that? What's that?
Okay, so it's actually Correctional Services Employees Month. Okay, this was first implemented during the Reagan administration in America, and it is supposed to be Correctional Services Employees Week, but we've decided to stretch it over a period of maybe not just a month, but a couple of months. Because of the nature of our work, we want all officers to be a part of the activities. We cannot just close down the prison and say, you know what, we're having an activity. We have to think of security and looking after the inmates. Okay, and these activities get towards recognizing the invaluable contribution of all staff of the facility, not just officers, because at the Borderley Correctional Facility, we have officers and we also have civilian staff.
Okay.
That is why it is Correctional Services Employees Month. So we want everybody to be involved. It is also a way of fostering team building among staff. Okay? Most times we work, it's a very stressful environment, and we don't get the time to actually relax a bit.
Right.
So that's why we stretch the activities over a period of a few months. So everybody, if you can't partake in all of the activities, at least you can partake in one of the activities.
Oh, as when we get to the activities, what we're saying is that the public can join.
Yes, there are activities which the public can join in.
Oh, I can't wait to get to hear that. But first of all, when was this observance initiated?
Okay, it was initiated, as I said earlier, by the Reagan administration. It's something
was
which
way
began in
back
the Americas
around that
in
time there, so?
1984. And so, correctional facilities around the Caribbean, including St. Lucia, we've decided to adopt it as well as part of our calendar.
That's the month of
May.
May.
It is normally a week of activities.
Oh, okay.
But we decided to run it over a few months so that.
So tell us about those activities. Officer.
Okay, so we have a range of activities. Some of them included, we had a health talk. We believe that health is wealth. And most times we work so much that we don't even have time to take care of ourselves. So we brought a doctor in, Dr. Melius, who spoke to us about eating healthy, taking care of ourselves, and so forth. We also have had a couple of school visits. Okay, we have been to the Dennery Primary School. We realized this is just in our vicinity, so we needed to do the schools in our direct vicinity. So we did Dennery Primary, where we read to all the grades from grade 2, from grade 3, to grade 6. Okay, we read to all those classes at the Dennery Primary. Then we went to the Babuno Primary and the Babuno Secondary School. There, the Minister of Home Affairs, our minister, joined us at the Babuno Secondary School. At the Babuno Secondary School, we spoke to Form 1 and Form 2 students. And we spoke to them, our clinical social worker spoke to them about conflict resolution, because in dialogue with the Dean of Discipline of that school, he mentioned he had a few concerns that he wanted us to address, and one of the main issues was conflict resolution. So we profited that opportunity to speak to the students on conflict resolution. We also sold corrections as a career for them. Okay, we told them we want to see them come to Borderley, not
nice.
as inmates, but as
Yes,
officers. And we
I
explained
agree.
to them the various job opportunities. It's not just being an officer. You could be an officer and be specialized, work in programs. You know, there are nurses, there are doctors, there are persons who work in accounts. So there are a number of other career opportunities there at the Borderley Correctional Facility.
Awesome.
We also went to the Dennery Primary School where we did reading as well. The Cicero Combined School. We also did the John Odlum, was interesting. We went to the John Odlum
Yes.
Secondary School sometime last week. And a special group of students was selected for us to meet with, from 4 young men. Okay? So they were selected, and we walked them through what prison life is all about. We tried our best to walk them through what it is. When you get there, when you get into those gates, what actually happens at Borderley. A lot of them knew a lot of things about Borderley, what their friends had said to them who had been there. So they were quite knowledgeable. But we again sold to them that we want them to stay in school, learn well and become correctional officers and not inmates.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
We also had, we fellowship with the Dennery Evangelical Church. We went to service at the Dennery Evangelical Church, the staff of the facility. And there, Pastor Liebert, he anointed every staff member who was present there that day. And he informed us that he and his congregation, they have been praying for us and for the facility. And that was a blessing on that day in question. In fact, they have already said to me, we're waiting for you all to come a second time, you know. So these are some. We plan to continue the school outreach, because I have schools calling and asking for us to come to them.
Nice.
Okay,
Nice.
primary
So it's well
schools like
received.
secondary schools. Okay, so we ask them whatever they want us to do, whether it be reading, whether it be pep talks, we're open. So schools can call and we could see how best we could arrange to meet with them, to come to their schools to do the various sessions with their students. On Friday, so I gave you the activities that we have done. On Friday, we have a football and fundraising karaoke at the Dennery playing field. In fact, the police is supposed to grace us with their presence. We're expecting the 2 teams from the police, one from Viewfort and one from Castries, the
on
fire
Friday.
service,
Okay.
and corrections. We're going to have a football match, small goals, knockout competition among the sister agencies. And after which, we're going to have a fundraising karaoke by the Dennery Multipurpose Center. The food is free, but we're going to be selling the drinks. This is towards our staff awards in December.
So the food is free.
The food is free.
That's interesting. When we have things so hard, it's amazing that the facility can give free
food. The food is free because we want people to come and support the activity.
Excellent. And you know Lucians like food.
Yeah, we know Lucians like food. So we want people to come out and support the activity. 2 years we've not had staff awards due to COVID. So this year we're hoping that we could have a grand staff awards as well. I forgot one of the main activities we had. On the 20th of May, we had a staff recognition ceremony at the Pastoral Center in Marisil. And what happened at that ceremony is officers who recently got promoted were issued their certificates of promotion along with their chevrons and so forth. And those officers who had gone above and beyond in the call of duty was also recognized and awarded. Okay, so we felt that necessary because most times the officers feel like their work is going unnoticed. So we felt we needed to put that in the calendar of activities, since for the last 2 years we've not been able to have a proper staff awards. On Sunday, we're going to do the 758 excursion. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, I haven't.
Okay, these jeeps which go. So on Sunday, we're going to go out and distress a bit.
So you're going to be on those buggies, those
No, they're
off-road
the
jeeps,
right,
or the jeeps itself?
Jeep itself.
Okay.
So that will be on Sunday.
Okay.
So we're
And
going
that one I
out.
cannot come. That's just your.
No, you could come. We don't exclude anybody. You could come.
Okay.
You know? So that is the plan for Sunday.
Okay.
So we're going to showcase ourselves. We're going to market ourselves out there. So we've planned 3 career showcases at 3 different locations. One in Castries, one at the Baywalk Mall, and one in Vieux-Fort. Okay, the first is scheduled for the 24th of June. And the second, which is the 1st of July, that's at Baywalk Mall. And the third is the 15th of July at the Vieux-Fort Square.
I see.
The whole intention of this career showcase is to come out there and show people what actually, explain to people what actually happens at Borderly. A lot of people have the conception, especially when we go to the schools. The students ask a lot of questions. They believe that you don't interface with the inmates one-on-one. You know, they ask a lot of questions. So we actually want to go out there and say, this is what we do. This is how we do it. Okay, this is how you can become a correctional officer. There are many opportunities for you. It is actually a career that you could grow and love. You know, so we want to go out there and actually market ourselves, because what we find, a lot of people say, but how do people know what you all do? You know, because everybody believes it's just, you know, you are turnkey. You just go there, open the inmates, put them out, lock them back. But there is so much more that goes on at the Borderly Correctional Facility. In August, we've planned a tour to Martinique. We're looking to partner with the prison in Martinique, so we could go up for a weekend, do a little exchange, visit the prison, relax a bit. So the plans are coming on nicely for this activity. On the 6th of November, we have a fundraising boat ride, and everybody's invited. It
That's
is open.
the day after my birthday, so
I'll
get a free ticket. I'll get a free ticket, people.
So on the 6th of November, we have a fundraising boat ride.
Okay.
The boat is booked, the music is booked, so just start saving the money. The flyers and the tickets will be out soon. We'll be raising funds again towards our staff awards in December. This activity is open to the public.
Nice.
We have some other activities, beach lime, river lime. We've not dated those. We want to do a night with our retirees, maybe play dominoes, a little, just so that what we find is officers, the new officers, may hear certain names, but they may not be able to put a face to it, and may have heard that that person have contributed so much to the facility. So at least those who are still there, we want the officers to be able to meet them, and they could share their experience. We could laugh and just have, you know, just a social gathering. Okay, we're also looking to have some financial guidance, to get somebody in the financial sector to come and speak to our officers, investment opportunities, these things, you know. And we have what we call Habitat for Humanity, where we're hoping to probably the home in Dennery, adopt them, give back.
Wow.
Give back. So all of these are some of the activities that we have. So that's why it's not a week of activities, it's a couple of months. Yes. But it's been going quite well. In fact, our theme, I forgot to tell you, for the rest of the year, the theme we chose is Together Pressing Forward.
Together pressing forward. Together
pressing forward. Because we believe in the environment that we work, especially the prison, we need to be together as staff. You know, we need to have each other's back. And we could only move forward if we are together. So that is why we chose the theme, Together Pressing Forward.
Excellent. I am so impressed. Hey, you guys at the facility, excellent planning, you know, welfare, police welfare. Come on, you can't let them beat us, okay? We're going to take another break. And when we come back, remember I told you I have a video clip to play. You're going to want to watch this. Stay tuned to Police Inside.
worms, this department has been dead for the last 3 years.
Me is Correctional Officer 2, Yasmin Peter. And if you missed the first segment, should I say the second, she was definitely promoting all the activities that have been stemmed from Correctional Services Month. And I told her, I want that boat ride, ticket. Director, it's my birthday, on the 5th. So I want that ticket. All right. So we're going to get into some more serious business, because a while ago it was serious, a little more serious business. I have a clip to play for you guys, because we've heard the saying, Bodley is a 40-star hotel, etc., blah, 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 blah. Or sometimes we've heard even inmates find ways to complain about the conditions at our facility. But after seeing this clip, I can't wait to hear what you viewers think, and also probably I'll get a reaction from my guest. Let's watch this clip. Steve.
Nevertheless, while the women manage to organize and share their own food, most of the male prisoners have to rely on the prison food. The stocks for this are stored not far from the guardhouse. No refrigeration is necessary. A stuffy, dark shack is sufficient for this. Manioc. The tuber is the only nourishment provided by the state for the prisoners. There is nothing other than the starchy root. The storekeeper provides 300 grams per prisoner per day.
I tried it myself. It's okay, but I couldn't eat it every day. My stomach wouldn't take it.
3:30 p.m., Block D of Antanimora. The kitchen. Here the inmates themselves prepare the food provided by the state. Manioc, or cassava as it's called here, every day.
It's difficult to cook. Manioc is very dry and hard.
So they boil it until it's tender, for hours, without salt, spices, or anything else. Only manioc root. "4 p.m. The inmates' only free meal of the day is dished up. The men manage to contain their enthusiasm, but hunger is still the best relish.
I'm really hungry.
Food is my biggest worry. I've got no family here in town which could bring me food.
So it's boiled manioc root every day, nothing else. Those without money in this jail have no chance to obtain vitamins or meat. Even though there are no official statistics, the relief organizations maintain that malnutrition is the main cause of death in Madagascar's prisons.
I can't take being here. I can't be locked in a jail with so little to eat. If I don't get enough to eat, I won't survive here long.
Life here is very harsh. The food is really unbearable. Every day it's always the same thing, manioc. It makes us sick. It's infested with small worms. They're bad for your health.
Yes, folks. And this is not a video documentary from the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s, We're talking about what just a year or 2 years ago in Madagascar. okay? That is prison life, where the correctional facility is not a priority for the government. And the video says 300 grams, I think, per prisoner. Manioc. Only thing that is served for lunch, not morning, not breakfast or dinner, lunch. No salt, no seasoning, boiling water. Officer Peter, how did you feel when you saw such a clip?
That's inhumane.
It's inhumane. Would you care to speak about diet, food in terms of our facility compared to what you just saw?
Okay, in our facility at Borderley Correctional Facility, when the inmates come in, they go for an induction period. Okay, they would have seen the nurse, the doctor, and so forth. So you find inmates who have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, you know that they would have their special diet. So this facility has to provide a special diet for those inmates with medical conditions. Okay? Inmates are given their 3 meals a day.
Three meals a day. Okay.
Lunch, and dinner.
At the expense of the taxpayers,
The
right?
taxpayers. They get their 3 meals a day. And if you're on a special diet, if you have any medical conditions and the doctor has prescribed a certain diet for you, it has to be provided. Okay?
Now, here's the thing, officer. Sometimes we hear from sections of society, whilst I do agree with you that this is inhumane, there are some people that are calling for such treatment because they say probably the facility or jail is too nice, which is why maybe there are different people reoffending, coming back. What say you to that?
We must also realize that we're running a correctional facility. Okay, and our motto says to secure, protect, and rehabilitate.
That's right.
Okay, we have the human rights, you know, even from the America who evaluates the prison and gives a report. So we have to do what we must do in order to get a good report. The inmates are there as punishment and not for punishment. So we're supposed to provide them with their meals a day, their 3 meals a day, take care of their medical, take care of their needs. That is what we're there to do. I know some people may find, well, it's our tax money, but this is what we are supposed to do as a correctional facility.
Well said. Would you now care to explain to us our Nathan Timothy laws for tonight that speaks to that a director may impose something called a reduction of diet to number 1? Would you care to explain what that means?
You know, when Sergeant Hippolyte, you messaged me this, I was like, of all the laws in the Correctional Services Act, this is the one which captured Sergeant Hippolyte. Okay, now, before I even go there, I want to let the public know that at Borderley, that doesn't happen. We do no reduction in diet. And before that is even done, okay, I'm going to read Section 33. I don't know if you are privy to it.
Okay.
Medical officer's certificate as to punishment. Because before an inmate is punished, the doctor has to examine that inmate. So it says here, an inmate who is to be punished by either cellular confinement or reduction of diet shall first be examined by a medical officer who shall certify in writing that such an inmate is fit to sustain the punishment.
Interesting.
So even before that punishment is administered, the inmate has to see the medical officer. The medical officer must say that the inmate is fit
to sustain the
punishment. Okay? And that the medical officer shall pay regular visits to inmates undergoing punishment as stated in subsection 1 and shall advise the director if the medical officer considers the termination or alteration of the punishment necessary on grounds of physical or mental health. So before...
So it's not carte blanche where the director will just choose. There is still a process.
There is still a process to be followed. But at Borderley, we do not give inmates this kind of punishments. I must say that categorically. Reduction in diet. Now, when it speaks to reduction in diet, okay, I don't know if you have a copy, Zachary.
Yes, yes, let me...
The prison rules?
No, I don't have a copy.
Okay, you don't have a
rules.
copy. So here it says, number 1 diet. The diet, when given for a period of 3 days or less, shall constitute of 1 pound bread per day with water, nothing like what we saw in the video. This diet, when given for more than 3 days, shall consist of alternate period of days of 1 pound bread per day with water. The diet prescribed for prisoners employed or ordinary industrial labor according to sex. So it's not just, you know, just given just so. There are conditions under which the diets must be given.
I see.
Okay, I will not read everything, so I will just give an idea of what the number 2 diet says.
Okay.
The diet, when given for a period of 21 days or less, shall constitute of meal 1, bread, 8 ounces of water, 1 pint of porridge containing 3 ounces of cornmeal. Meal 2, sweet potato, 8 ounces of bread, 8 ounces plus water. And meal 3, bread, 8 ounces plus water. So you see, even in the restricted diet number 2, they received your free.
Yeah.
Your free meals. Nothing like what we saw in the video.
In that video,
but again, I want to emphasize that this is not practiced at Waterley.
Excellent.
This kind of punishments.
It's written there, but
it's
still
not.
not
It's just like some of the other laws we have on the law book.
We have a
but
couple
it's, yeah,
that's there.
Which should not be.
Should be repealed and removed.
Right.
Excellent, officer. Let's take another break. When we come back, I will open up the lines and have some more questions for Officer Peter. Stay tuned.
A newly renovated home is a special feeling, and lighting can be a big part of that. Like the LED seasonal lights many now use for energy saving and safety over the holidays. It's worth the effort to install LED lights everywhere, and you don't have to be an expert to change a bulb. Remember to turn off all lights when not in use. This includes LED lights. Smart move, buddy. Saving energy is what's smart.
We heard you, misters, and we are excited to be back with Lifestyles with Candy Nicholas on Choice Media Network. We have great information on how to enhance your health and well-being. So join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. as we discuss with experts on disease prevention, healing, staying fit, aging gracefully, the right foods and tools for health optimization, and keeping beautiful inside and out. Life-changing information, plus opportunities to win amazing health and wellness related gifts. Join us Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Lifestyles with Candy Nicholas, only on Choice Media Network.
Welcome back to Police Insight on Choice Television. In studio with me is Correctional Officer 2, YASMIN Peter. We're going to continue the interview, but we're also going to open up the lines. She's doing an amazing job. I'm so impressed with her. And I could see a lot of persons who are, individuals, who are commenting on the chat are very impressed. They're also impressed with my guest. So we're going to open up the lines and we'll continue the conversation. The number is 4560306, 4560306. You could also hook me up on the WhatsApp texting platform 7200401, 7200401 for a question for my guest or any other issue that you would like to raise. Officer, in terms of visitation, because I think some sections of society still don't have that right. Also, we were hit with a COVID pandemic, so most probably certain procedures may have been altered, etc. Could you inform our viewers about visitation? What can they bring? What's the times, etc.?
Okay, we started visits maybe about 2 months ago. Since during COVID, we had no visits, okay? All we had was just drop-off, so families were allowed to just drop off money for their inmates, for their relatives. Okay, so we have visits and drop-offs. A drop-off is you just come in to drop the monies you don't wish to see the inmate. Okay?
Okay.
So we have this every Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Okay? But it's by appointments only. So we take appointments between the hours of 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay? And the appointment must be made 24 hours in advance.
So someone has to call the facility?
The day before.
Okay.
So if you want to come, like if somebody wanted to visit tomorrow, they would have had to call this morning to make that appointment.
Interesting.
And the number to call is 468-7107. So for appointments, the number to call is 468-7107. Okay, and that must be done 24 hours in advance. Okay, when you're coming to visit or drop off, you need to walk with valid ID, whether it be your driver's license, your passport, or your national ID. So you must walk with a form of identification. We follow the COVID-19 protocols. You must wear your mask. We will take your temperature when you get there. You will have to be sanitized. So the same thing as out there, that we do that as soon as you come in for visits. Okay, we find a lot of challenges when it comes to the dress code, especially the females. Okay, so here I want us to listen, okay? No jewelry. So if you have your earrings, your chain, when you come for a visit, we're going to ask you to take it out and leave it in the locker, okay? No headgear, no caps, no hats, no tying of the hair. If you're a Rasta and you have your locks, some of them get upset because you tell them take it off. Well, I tell them when you come into Waterloo, just don't come with the head tie. Okay, for half an hour, it's not going to take anything from you, okay? No see-through garments. No see-through garments. No short skirts. Skirts must be knee length. Pants, dress, knee length, okay? For the ladies, the pants would be long pants. For the men as well, no three-quarter pants, okay? Both for drop-offs and visits, okay?
Some ladies might say, you know, they haven't seen their loved one so long, they want to, you know, show them skin.
That's not the time for that. When you finish showing the skin, it may be the officer who faces the problem. So, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so no inappropriate clothing. We know there are these cut-up jeans and these jeans with holes. No, that's not allowed. No clothing with written obscenities, offensive photos or slogans, gestures, or political symbols. No smartwatches.
Or political symbols?
No political symbols.
Interesting. Even if we're not in an electioneering period, it doesn't matter? No. I didn't know that one.
Okay.
That's amazing.
No smartwatches. No personal items will be allowed in the visit room. So when you get there, everything you came in with, you will be asked to leave it in a locker. You will lock it up and you will go to the visit room with the locker key. No clothing in similarity to the inmate's clothing. That means the colors: royal blue, sky blue, forest green, yellow. Okay? None of these colors should be worn to visits. No leggings, no jeggings, no capris, no spaghetti straps, no short tops, no crop tops, no vests.
Oh my goodness.
Or three-quarter jeans. All visitors will be subjected to a search on their person before they proceed to the visit room. Okay? All items has to be approved by the Director of Corrections before it can be accepted. So the inmate will write a request. If he wants boxers or a bed sheet or anything of that sort, he will write a request. It will be forwarded to the director, who will decide whether or not the items will be accepted. If the request is approved, the request will be sent downstairs for the visit staff, and they will accept it for the inmate. Most times you find visitors coming, the inmates, and they tell you, the inmate said he made a request. So then you have to say to them, did the inmate verify whether the request was approved? Because the requests have to be approved in order to accept anything for the inmate. The only thing we accept without a request, monies. Okay? So they don't need to write a request to receive monies from the family, but anything else, they need to write a request for it. When it comes to fruits, we've been having a challenge when it comes to fruits. Okay? So we take sliced fruits and small fruits. Okay? Like the cantaloupe and so forth.
Yes.
Well, the watermelon, the cantaloupe, the pineapple, it has to be no more than a pound. Okay? So some people come with some real big fruits sometimes, so we have to turn them away. So sliced fruits, we take sliced fruits.
Someone would like to know about why.
Yeah, maybe they'll tell you. I was just an example just of yesterday. The lady came with a cantaloupe, and I said, no, we can't take this. This is too big. And she said, he'll share it, you know. So some of them have that concept. Okay. But we prefer that you bring a small fruit, no more than a pound, or you bring it a piece of fruit for the inmate. So for the smaller fruits, like the mangoes, the apples, and so forth, 7. We take a maximum of 7.
Oh,
so 7 bananas,
okay.
7 apples,
okay.
7 pears. For the grapes, you will not take 7, but you'll bring not a big parcel of grapes. Because if you take 7 grapes, I mean 7 grapes is like, so for the grapes, it would differ. The officer, you bring a small parcel of grapes, but for all the other fruits, you would bring 7. Would prefer that if all items, especially the fruits, are packaged in clear bags, transparent that you could see through, okay, or plastic bags. But the fruits, preferably clear bags. So the officer does not have a trouble of, It makes it much easier and the process can be much faster. Because you find a lot of people come and they say, all of that you have to do, I tell them we have to go through the process. It is a process when you come to visit. We know you want to see your loved one, but at the same time, we need to make sure that there are no contrabands or anything in what is being brought to the inmates.
Someone, before you continue, officer, someone would like to know what's wrong with wearing the jewelry?
It is just the procedure, no jewelry.
Yeah.
No jewelry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also someone from the viewing, I guess that's a foreigner, is stating, is it possible to, if you're abroad, to contact an inmate via a long-distance call?
That can be arranged. So you'd call the facility, you'd identify yourself, and then whoever is at the control room will take the information and will transfer the call to someone higher who will take it from there.
Take it from there. Excellent. Wish to continue?
Okay, so that's basically it when it comes to visit. Let's follow the dress code and the procedure because sometimes you get visitors. I came from all the way to Suffolk and I came from all the way there. This is why I specifically chose to give the information here tonight because most times you find the persons who come to visit, they tell you they're not the ones who made the appointment. They may have been given, the officer may have given the person who made the appointment all the information, but you know that's a lot to remember.
Yes,
okay, so this is why we're putting it out there. Okay, so drop-off and visits are from Monday to Friday. We do not have visits on the weekend. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. You call for an appointment. Appointments will be taken from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And the telephone number is 468-7107. You must walk a valid ID when coming to visit your loved one or when you come in to do a drop-off as well.
Someone here on the WhatsApp texting platform, thank you, viewer. The person is saying, money, 3 exclamation marks. I think that was when you said that someone could drop off money without any issue.
Yes.
And they're asking, are there shops in the cells? Or in other words, why would they need money?
Okay, we have what we call a tuck shop, okay? So the inmates are able to shop. There is a special form with all the items that are sold in the tuck shop. They would fill out the form. Each inmate has an account. Each inmates are identified at the prison by their number, not by name.
Okay.
Because you may find there may be 2 inmates with the same name.
I see.
So each inmate has an account, and that money is placed in the account. So they will fill out their form, and then the tuck shop officer will pick it up, do the calculations, and so forth. And on the day that they're supposed to receive shopping, the officers will bring the shopping to the unit, whatever they have requested, once they have enough monies to purchase it. And this is how it's done. So we have what we call a tuck shop at the facility, where they're able to shop for their basic needs, just snacks and so forth.
I see. And someone here on the WhatsApp texting platform is saying, why is my hard-earned money that is being used to feed them? They kill, they rape. Why is our money that I have to feed them? If I was the government, they would find their own food for them to eat. If your family doesn't drop food or money for you, that is up to you. Stay without, I didn't put you there. That. Now, you see, this is why I played that clip, Miss Peter, because I want people to understand that there are people with varying views when it comes to incarceration and stuff like that. And there is someone who's just not happy at all with the fact that people who are judged to have committed an offense and sent to a correctional facility, that we as a nation are still paying for them to eat. I don't think that's. I don't know. I don't think Miss Peter will want to react to that.
Let me just give you an example.
Okay.
I had not too long ago. I was on a public bus, and I was in uniform. So this gentleman, he came on the bus. He sat he didn't sit next to me. He sat on the other seat, and he said, "L'argent look at travail. Belle fille comme l'argent look at travail." So I said to him, "What's wrong in that?" He said, "Criminal look at travail." I said, "Criminals? I do not know that name. I do not know that word. I know I work with inmates, and I work at a correctional facility." So then he continued talking. I said, "What makes you better than the inmate who was in there? Just that the inmate has broken the law of the land, and he's been arrested, and he's in there. But what makes me better than him? Can I really cast the first stone? No, I can't."
I see.
So the other people in the bus, they were listening intently. I said, what we do at Baudelaire is a correctional facility. And what we aim to do is to make inmates better citizens upon their release, you understand? But the problem with that is the society is not accepting of those inmates.
Giving them a chance.
As I said to him, I'm not going to say that all inmates, rehabilitation is going to work for them. But there are those who are genuinely interested.
You have a call? Okay, hold on, Officer Peter. Let's take that call. Good night, caller. First call for tonight. Thank you for calling. Caller, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, caller, good night.
Yes, hello?
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm there. I want to ask a question. If the women that is coming... Yes, good night. Hello? The women that is coming to visit the inmate, what color clothes you have to wear?
What you ask? What color?
What color or kind?
What kind of clothes? What kind of color? You say, the officer say no orange, no this, no that.
Okay. All right. That's it, caller?
Yes. What color t-shirt?
Okay, thank you. So let's go over again, especially for the women. Kind on color.
She wants to know what color.
Yeah.
So we do not want any clothing that is similar to that of the inmates. So nothing blue, royal blue, nothing sky blue, nothing forest green, and nothing yellow.
Interesting.
So royal blue, sky blue, forest green, and yellow. So the public may be asking why, but you don't want in the event that there is a incident at the facility during visits that you have to be trying to pick out who are inmates and who are visitors. So if you don't wear these colors, then it makes life easier for us at the facility. If in case something were to happen, we know, okay, so you're in white, so you must be a visitor. We know these colors are the colors worn by the inmates.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, let's take that call. Good night, caller. Caller, are you there? We lost that one. And people, please, whenever you call, do not listen to your devices. Listen to your phone, okay? And also your device creates a feedback. So don't listen to your television, don't listen to your laptop. Turn it down and listen to us on that. We have another call? Good night, caller. Caller, are you there? I don't know. Yeah, it seems that caller was listening to the television. People stop listening to the television and just listen to the phone. Okay? We're going to take a break. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back to Police Insight.
Your vehicle insurance should never break your bank. With Beacon, you can get up to 35% off your fully comprehensive car insurance and still get full protection from unexpected damages with free loss of use, windscreen cover, and special perils. When it comes to your insurance, always be sure you settle for more. Call us at 458-5860 or log on to beacon.co.tt and get a quote today.
We heard you, misters, and we are excited excited to be back with Lifestyles with Candy Nicholas on Choice Media Network. We have great information on how to enhance your health and well-being. So join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. as we discuss with experts on disease prevention, healing, staying fit, aging gracefully, the right foods and tools for health optimization, and keeping beautiful inside and out. Life-changing information, plus opportunities to win amazing health and wellness-related gifts. Join us Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Lifestyles with Candy Nicholas, only on Choice Media Network.
Welcome back to Police Insight, and please try calling again. Just remember, do not listen to your device, your television. Turn it off and listen to your phone, because there will be a feedback, and there's a delay also. And whilst I'm there waiting for you to respond, I am still on your television or on your laptop saying something else. Okay? So we're back with Correctional Officer 2, YASMIN Peter, and I must say, and someone here says, my dear America, prison don't have all those do's and don'ts. We do church duties there. That's someone on the Facebook chat. Someone else here is saying, excellent representation, Officer Peters. Yes, she's doing an excellent job. And as we continue the interview, you could call 456-0306. Let's make sure that number is on the screen, 456-0306. Or you could WhatsApp me on the texting platform, 7200401, 7200401. And also, those of you in the chat, it's live on the Choice Media Facebook page. Officer Peter, can an inmate earn money whilst incarcerated, and how?
Sure, an inmate can earn money while...
Apart from people bring money for them?
Yeah, sure, sure. We have an officer we call the Inmate Employment Officer, okay? There's an officer assigned with that task. So inmates work everywhere in the prison, from the kitchen, they clean the offices upstairs, they work on the farm, they work in the tailor shop, they work in everywhere you could think we employ inmates, they work. So the Inmate Employment Officer is responsible for the employment of inmates. They will go through the same, we try to prepare them for outside. So they would apply, they would go through the interview process, almost like applying for a police or correctional officer, because the intelligence department would have to do a background check on them.
Interesting.
And so forth, to see what their behavior is generally on the unit. You, the officer working on the unit or working with that inmate, would have to prepare a behavioral form to see how that inmate behaves. And the inmate would be paid. Okay? The inmate would be paid for them. They would not get the monies in their hand at the end of the month like me and you. So the money would be placed on their account, and then upon their release, they would be given whatever monies they have accumulated.
I see. Oh, okay. Excellent. That's interesting. Are there any incentives for good behavior by inmates? Yeah.
Sure.
But
the well-behaved inmates or the good behavior, those we single out as exemplary inmates, you know. Even when it comes to the whole idea of parole, we would seize the exemplary inmates who would get parole, because you, the officers who work with them, you asked to prepare certain reports as well. Okay, what would happen to if an inmate is well behaved? An inmate, a remand inmate, is entitled to a visit a week. I forgot to say that in my visit. One a week if you're on remand.
Okay.
And a sentenced inmate is entitled to one visit a month. Okay.
Ooh.
An inmate may request an additional visit, let's say, whether it be remand or sentence. And when that request gets to whoever has to approve it, behavior would play an integral role. So you may get an additional visit, be rewarded for good behavior. You may get, right now what we have is non-contact visit. We may decide to give you a contact visit if you're family.
Okay.
So these are the little things that we do in order to reward good behavior.
I see.
You could get an extra visit, you could get a contact visit. There may be something that you want, and because of your behavior, you may be allowed to receive that item when you request it. Because when an inmate has done a request form, as I spoke about, they have to request anything that they need. You, the officer working with them, the supervisor, would have to put a note on that form. Okay, so they're outright. If the inmate is well behaved, whether I think the inmate deserves this thing, why I think the request should be granted, even before it goes to the director for final approval. So all of that, approval of requests and all of that would be incentives.
You know, sometimes people say our facility is not tough, but when you tell me it's one visit
a month for a sentenced inmate.
Oh, wow.
And the visits are of a 30-minute duration.
And for the remand is
once every week.
Once every week?
Yeah.
I could imagine someone like me who loves my family. Yeah. I cannot believe that I'd have to wait that long for a 30-minute visit. Oh, man, that's
with the lawyers and the professional visits, the probation, parole, they do not necessarily, they would call in advance to let us know they're coming, but they would not be given a duration of time to stay with their clients. So if they want to spend 3 hours, they could do that. You know, the lawyers, the probation officers, the parole officers, and so forth. Even the police when they come to issue, take statements and so forth.
Okay, I have a question on the WhatsApp texting platform. Thank you, viewer, for your question. Officer, could you please, okay, let's ask her. Is it possible for an inmate to attend an immediate family funeral? All right, I'm inside there. It's about a week. I'm just there. My mom passes.
At present, we do not allow inmates to attend funeral with all the COVID and so forth. Okay, what would be allowed? The inmate would write a request, and we would at least allow the inmate to go view the body the day of the funeral. Arrangements would be made, but the inmate would have to write a request, asking or giving that information that he or she would like to. And again, behavior would play a role there too.
If you're good.
If anything, behavior would play a role. But to attend the funeral for now,
that
no,
would be difficult because
you'll
have to accept logistics,
with all
taking away
COVID and
manpower,
everything.
COVID and all that. So, I see.
But at least they would be allowed the liberty of going to visit, to pay their last respects at the funeral home, to visit that person. But again, behavior would play a critical role in that. Because if an inmate is not well behaved, that is in itself a privilege.
I see. Someone there is asking, what about conjugal visits? If I'm married, I'm in there, I'm on remand. I'm on remand and my wife, you know, what do you say? So you
well,
spend time with their wife.
We've not reached that point at the
conjugal,
in St. Lucia. We've not, okay? No conjugal visits. For now, all we have is non-contact visits.
Non-contact.
So it's behind the glass that you visit.
Yeah. Some nice questions coming up here. Okay, let me get some reactions from the Facebook chat. Some of your people forget where you're visiting. There must be restrictions, and I guess someone is reacting to something somebody else said earlier, where probably there's too much restrictions. You know, and you know, as usual, we'll always get individuals trying to compare other greater jurisdictions who probably have more resources and more technology than us. They'll try to compare those places with Little St. Lucia, but it is what it is. And someone is saying, what's the point wasting my time for 30 minutes? So I guess this person is not happy with the 30 minutes. You just cannot please everybody. Let's speak to rehabilitation officer Peter. What you could tell us about, I don't know, the sort of programs. Is it successful to your opinion? Give us some success stories. Rehabilitation. Okay,
when it comes to rehabilitation, everything was at a standstill because of COVID, because we saw a number of waves at the facility, okay? We were not immune to COVID at the facility. In fact, some officers came without it and they left with it.
Interesting.
Okay, so we were not immune. But we've started back on with our rehabilitation programs. So we try to cater to all inmates, okay? We start with the religious services. We've not started, but we've spoken to the religious groups. And we try to cater for every inmate at the facility when it comes to their religious beliefs. So we have the Muslims, we have Ayanola, we have the Adventists, we have the Catholics, we have the Evangelicals.
They get somebody say the Adventists, what the Adventists doing there?
No, but you have to cater.
So just poking fun at my Adventist
you have
brothers.
to cater. You have to cater for everybody. Okay. So we're in the process of getting back our religious service on foot.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of we also have the education program, where we have inmates who go to school. You know, we do pre-CXC, CXC, basic English and maths. We've also introduced the CVQ program, where we're in the process of working on it, electricity, teaching the inmate various skills. So giving them skills so when they go out there, they could have a certificate to show that they've done X, Y, Z at the prison. We also have the tailor shop, the woodwork shop, where you teach inmates to do tailoring and so forth. In fact, I could give us a success story with tailoring. There is a gentleman, I will not say his name, but he lives in my community. And he learned to sew at the Waterloo Correctional Facility. That is where he never showed before in his lifetime. And he's out there making money.
From what he learned.
From what he learned, that skill he learned.
That's awesome.
You know, I have actually recommended people to him. And they said, I didn't know he was sewing. I said, yes. You know, he has been there. He's trying. At least I could tell you, you know, he's good. So we have those rehabilitation programs. At present, we have the St. Lucia Chess Federation working with us. That's the first time we have introduced chess in the facility. And the enthusiasm among the inmates, it's high, you know. In fact, what they're trying to do is to get a few inmates ready for the Intercontinental Prison Chess Tournament, which is supposed to be sometime in October.
Wow.
Okay? And so that we have going on right now. Okay? We don't leave out the sports because the inmates like their football and their cricket and so forth. So there's a little for everybody. Somebody may tell me, Miss Peters, you know, you should, after what the inmate said, but you leave out the athletics. I like athletics. So, you know, we have to try to cater to everybody's needs. Anything that's going to keep them occupied and doing something positive. Because the whole thrust behind rehabilitation is to make those inmates better individuals so that when they leave the prison, they could move on with their lives. They will not want to go back to that same life that led them to prison.
Since you said move on with their lives, due to your experience, Ms. Peters, and what we've learned throughout the years, what would you say might be the greatest challenge or some of the challenges to ex-convicts, persons who, in your mind, are rehabilitated, but they're now going back to society?
Okay, one of the main challenges I could say that most of the inmates face, society is not accepting. You know, once a prisoner, always a prisoner to them. But there are inmates who genuinely come to prison and give off their best. They take part in the program. They say to you, Miss, I don't want to go back to that life. We've seen inmates who've left Waterloo with 5 CXCs, 1s and 2s, and then they come back. Why?
Oh my goodness.
And when you speak to them, what do they tell you? I went to look for a job. Probably they started working, and somebody came there and said, hey, you know, Matt was in jail. And they would fire them.
Wow.
Not because they've done anything, just because.
He was in jail.
You understand? And these are the things that we face. Another thing we see is there are inmates who are in prison who will never get a visit. They will spend 10 years and never get a visit. The family forget them. They're going back to that same society when they come back. You understand? So at least if the families give them just support while they're there, we can do our part in there. But if when they get out there, because we know out there we do not have, we would love to see St. Lucia have a halfway home or something, somewhere that these inmates can go to which can continue to help them until they pick up again. But unfortunately, we do not have this facility. So we ask family members, do not forget your loved ones. Anybody can fall to prison, can get to prison. I can be here today. And,
me too.
You know, circumstances, things happen.
We're human.
You understand? We're human. So at the end of the day, you may not be able to come and visit every week or once a month. But at least if you could come at least once when you can, the inmates will appreciate it. Let them know that you've not forgotten them. Because you see, some inmates, you see they're ready to go home. You have discharge that is coming, and that's when they give the most trouble. And you, the officer, ask yourself, why? But he's going home in a week's time. Why all of a sudden? But you know, the uncertainty has him behaving that way. He does not know what he's going to. His family has never visited him. He does not even know what he's going back to. So all these things. So if the families and the public can just give some support when it comes to rehabilitation or reintegration, give them a fair chance. I'm not saying everybody in prison is going to be rehabilitated, but there are some who are genuinely trying to get on the right path.
You know, and I'd like to say also good night to the management staff of the Boys Trade Center, because I know that is something that they themselves have always spoken of. Even at that level, they don't get the type of support from the community, from the parents, from the parents of those young men who have been sent to the Boys Training Center. They don't get the support, they don't get a visit. So Officer Peter is definitely well on point right there. We are going to take our last break for the night, and when we come back, we'll be getting ready to wrap up. Stay tuned to Police Insight. Okay, it has been such an amazing interview with Officer Peter. As we wind down, just maybe just at least 2 questions, and then we're going to get her final thoughts for the night. How does this job affect the psyche of correctional officers? I mean, like you say, you're married. Does it pose any challenge to you or some of your colleagues going back home, having to deal with daily life? Can you speak to that?
Okay. When you, as a correctional officer, sometimes if you're not mindful, you take the same policies home. You go home with that sternness, and you speak to your children or your family in the same way.
I see.
So you need to learn how to transition. For me, once I leave the door, that's it. Okay. Although I have, my number one bad habit is I lock every door. Because we taught every door you pass through, every lock you pass through, you lock it. So sometimes I even lock myself outside.
Wow.
Because it's so intertwined in you, you know. So we have to be careful because you could play. You deal with so much during the day. We're dealing with different characters who have different problems and different issues. Can you imagine sometimes an officer you're faced with maybe 100 inmates, okay, for the day. You've heard so much for the day.
Yeah.
And you yourself have your own issues dealing with, you know. If you're not able to separate work from your personal life, you carry it home. You carry it home. So you have to learn to...
Yeah, because most times you're the one who would get the complaints.
Everything.
I should not be in here. The
everything.
Stories, everything.
You're the mother, you're the father, you're the teacher, you're the counselor, you're the wife, everything you could think of to those inmates. Especially the female officers, everything you could think of. There'll be a male officer, they will not be, Miss... You know, you'd listen. You know, you would listen because they see that motherhood figure in you, that maternal, you know, so they would more be inclined. So what I say to my colleagues, you have to learn to unwind. When you leave that door, tell yourself, that's it, until I come back tomorrow.
But for those who are not able to attain such a skill, is in terms of counseling services, is that readily available for correctional officers?
Well, go through
the
EAP. The EAP is
okay,
available,
like everyone else.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I pose probably the last question for you before we wrap up. TV, movies, and actual media reports make it seem like the inmates still readily get things like alcohol, contraband, knives, and all other stuff very easily. And we've had some some stuff on the media about, this happening, I think cell phones and whatnot. Are there any steps or extra steps that you could speak of being taken to minimize this occurrence, or is there something you'd like to tell the public out there they should not encourage or allow this to happen?
Okay, well, with like any other prison, we're not immune to contrabands coming in, okay? I'm not making an excuse at the same time. But what we, on our end at the prison, we conduct searches on a regular basis, okay? On a regular basis. We have the Special Operations Response Team who carry searches on a daily basis. There are even times we have general searches where we shake down the whole prison just to get rid of the contrabands. But we still have incidents where you find things coming over the fence and so forth. So we will still find contraband. What we can do, what we try to do, is minimize as much as possible. So searching is never completed. You understand? You always have to search and research, even their bodies, the cells, just to ensure that you get rid of the contraband. But they use everything in there. They use things from the cell to make the weapon. So it's not an easy task.
I see.
But we try our best to see how best we could minimize the amount of contrabands which comes in, but when they get there, we also try to minimize what comes in as well. Okay? Because there are the outer perimeter checks and so forth, so the officers who do the checks on the farm to ensure that, nothing comes in as well.
The last one out for you, officer, might be a bit of a tough one, but I believe you could handle it. I know sometime ago in the media, one of your colleagues actually was arrested and charged for such an activity, I believe. How do you feel when something like that happens to one of your own? Does it personally affect you, or?
It affects generally all of us working at the facility. Because you see, when something happens, especially the negative, okay, the public don't pinpoint.
Yes.
On order.
Yeah.
A correctional officer.
Yeah.
So it's a general statement.
So you
to some effect, you get
painted with the same brush, just like the police.
painted by the same brush. Yes. So at the end of the day, it is not something I like hearing. It's not something that I encourage. As for me, I try to dissuade officers. The inmates are not our friends.
Yeah.
And I say that to them every day.
Yes.
The inmates can have all their issues. This one cannot be housed if this one, and this one has issues. But when they decide to come together, there are no issues. And we officers need to get to that point that we come together. That's why the theme is so fitting.
Yes.
Together, pressing forward. We need to come together and have each other's back. If I am faltering, as I say to them, I don't have to be your friend. When we come to work, we don't have to be friends. But we are colleagues, and we're going to have each other's back. You understand? So we need to come together, and we need to understand that the inmates are not our friends. We're here to do our job.
That's right.
And we should try to do our job in a professional manner and to the best of our ability.
This camera is yours. Final comments, officer.
I would like to say, firstly, to my correctional officers, let me just not say my correctional officers, the employees of the Borderley Correctional Facility, to continue the good work, okay? As my director would say, Mr. Herman, this is a calling. It's not just a job. It's a calling. And we need to continue the work that we're doing. Sometimes we feel like we're underappreciated, but I always say to my colleagues, keep doing what you're doing. A lot of persons in other spheres would not survive what we survive daily at the Borderley Correctional Facility. Those who don't work there would not understand, but those who work there actually understand. So keep doing what you're doing. As we continue with our activities, we ask that the officers support the activities. We have some which are open to the public. We ask that the public come out and support us. We do not want to be strangers to the public. We want the public to welcome and embrace us, okay? I also want to say to the viewing public, when it comes to rehabilitation, we need all hands on deck. Not just officers, not just Borderley, but the public on a whole, to support us in our rehabilitation drive. Okay, you could call the facility and see what you can do to assist us. We welcome donations and contributions towards our rehabilitation efforts. Okay? We also want to say to the families of those inmates in there, do not forget them. I mean, yes, we may not be pleased with whatever they may have done to be in there, but every soul is a soul to be saved. Okay, I sound religious there, but, you know, but at least pay them a little visit. Speak to them. Let them know that they're not forgotten, because it makes our job very difficult when you don't pay any attention to them. So I'd like to say to everyone out there, Borderley Correctional Facility needs your support, the officers and staff of the Borderley Correctional Facility. Sometimes when you pass and you see an officer in uniform, you could just say, officer, continue doing the good work. Trust me, this goes a long way. Okay? Just a little compliment, just a little nod when you see a correctional officer would go a long way, a little word of encouragement. That would go a long way.
Wow, thank you so much, Officer Peter. I must say you did an excellent job at representing the Bodley Correctional Facility. Everyone is pleased with your representation tonight, and I think the other rank is correctional officer free. Let's make it happen, people. Yeah, she deserves it. So once again, thank you all those who called, text on the streaming platform, who supports the police, who supports Police Insight, who supports the Choice Media Network. Until next Tuesday, stay safe and good night.